I just want to look at this. You've both said at halftime and the pre-show that Wenger needs to go. Who should come in? Would you expect a young, vibrant manager? Because Arsenal have this DNA.
You're pushy on this young one, aren't you?
I am, but I'm just thinking that they have a DNA, Arsene Wenger's DNA, in the stadium, in the club, in the players, in the backroom staff, because he's been here so long. I mean, how hard would it be for a new manager to come in and implement his ideas?
Taking over from Arsene Wenger, where they're going to finish this season, I think it's a good opportunity for someone to come in. But, I mean, I have to say, I get fed up with talking about Arsene Wenger leaving because he, isn't going to leave. It's up to the owners to be stronger and make the decision. You cannot have a manager making a decision when they want to leave, and that is the biggest issue at Arsenal. So, who would come in? Well, I think there are plenty of people out there who could do a better job than Arsene Wenger's doing. Like Allegri.
You would put Maximilian Allegri here.
Simeone, yeah. I like Simeone as well. Tough, strong, and plays a conventional system at times. Sometimes he plays two up top, which I miss, actually, seeing two players play up top.
Conte? Do you want me to keep going on?
Yes, please. Conte, you expect him to stay here in England?
Do I expect Conte to stay beyond Chelsea at the end of the season? No, I don't. Do you?
I can see him taking the Italy job, perhaps.
But I'm just saying, you asked me who would take over at Arsenal. If, the position arises, then Antonio Conte.
Okay. And if you were to be given the reins, for example, who would you keep and who would you let go? I just want to know.
How long have you got?
Well, how long we got?
As long as you want.
Let's be honest. Look, there's got to be major changes because Arsenal are good when they've got the ball, but football is about two sides, with and without the ball. Arsenal are not good without that ball. So, attacking-wise, great. You got the Ozils and the Mkhitaryan's. But Watford were cutting through Arsenal so easy in the first half especially, that Arsenal were fortunate to go in 1-0 up. So that's a part of the game where they've got to improve.
Give me some names.
Of play. Well, there was one out here, Decore, who, they've been linked with for that centre of the pitch. They could have got Kante a few seasons ago, but didn't pull the trigger on him. There's some... I like that Koke at Atletico Madrid. I think he's a fantastic player. So players like that to come here, tough, but still good on the ball. It's that type of player Arsenal need to be going for.
Yeah, they need enforcers, they need leaders, and it'll be another big summer for Arsenal in the window.
Do you expect Wenger to stay, though?
Yes.
And make these changes that you are asking for in terms of steel?
Arsene Wenger, well, we've been speaking about it for the last 10 years. Arsene Wenger hasn't made the change, so why is he going to change it again in the summer? I just don't see it.
All right. Well, in terms of the club's ambitions for the season, I guess all hands on deck for the Europa League, Champions League qualification.
All the chips in the middle. All the chips are in the middle for the Europa.
Yeah. Are they favourites to win it? I still fancy Atletico Madrid to win it. But, yeah, I mean, that's a gamble now. It's all in. All or nothing.
All or nothing for them.
Yep.
Interesting. And then for next season, build up again with Arsene Wenger there.
But they're not building up again, are they? They've been in regression.
Because they're outside the top four. They have to build up back into it.
I mean, they were outside last season.
Yeah.
So let's get it right. In fact, the club have regressed. They're not actually moving forward. They're regressing. So that's why we're saying there's going to be change.
Yeah, and the supporters have lost hope. And you could see that today. A lot of empty seats. May have had the excuses against Manchester City. But, and that will become an issue for the owners. They'll look around the ground today, empty seats, and it's a big thing. This stadium was full years ago, week in, week out. It's not now.
Yeah, it's a big... Chris makes a good point. When you're actually here as an owner or as the board and you're seeing empty seats, we know they like profit. Empty seats ain't profit. Empty seats is bad for business.
Is football too much about business and money now, do you feel, from when you were playing to now? Is it?
No, it's progressed. It's changed. Getting new stadiums. New stadiums cost a lot of money, and Arsene Wenger's seen that transition. But when you actually do look at it totally transparently, it is a business now. There's vast sums of money involved, and if your stadium is half empty, it's not good for business.
But bottom line with Arsenal, they were a force. When Arsene Wenger first came in, they were a force always pushing for a title, year in and year out. And over the last decade, beyond a decade now, it's not been the same Arsenal. It's getting worse. And the fans, you know, where you go back 2 years and there are a lot of fans saying, well, we want Arsene Wenger to stay. It's not the case anymore.
It's just that I asked about this Mrs. question because you mentioned that the owners have to be a little bit braver and say, no, we don't want you here at the club anymore. But they seem quite content because he's churning out the numbers in terms of financial figures.
Yep, which is why the owners should take more responsibility. You can't let we'd all want to stay in a job if we had the choice. So it's a
Sack
ridiculous
yourself.
situation.
It's never going to happen, Chris, is it? Never going to happen. He's not going to sack himself. But again, the people at the top have to see what's going on. That's why there's so much division among the fans. That's why there's so much inconsistency on the pitch. Because for one part, a couple of weeks ago, it looked like the players had chucked it in. It really did. But they're coming back now, a little bit of positivity about the club, but there's still empty seats at the Emirates, and that ain't good.
Too many false dawns.
Too many false dawns.
Yep.
What about the appointments at Arsenal? We've seen quite a few, behind the scenes, I should say. Are they trying to set up for a succession plan? Does it look like that to you, given what happened at Manchester United with Sir Alex Ferguson? Because, they haven't won the league since he left, have they?
No, but again, look, Manchester United and Manchester United Arsenal, two different things. Arsene Wenger is the power here, on the playing side especially. So, they've been regressing. At Manchester United, they've got Mourinho in now. They won trophies last season. Arsene Wenger, obviously, it was a perfect time for him after beating Chelsea in the FA Cup. Everyone thought he was going to go. He signed a new 2-year contract. And we're still at the same point in March, and it's been going nosediving. Yeah. So, 5. Look, it doesn't lie. The time doesn't lie. It's been going, regressing, and now it's time for Arsene Wenger really to, as I think Chris said it before, if he loves the club, he's got to stop this indecision.
Yeah.
And say, look, guys, it's time.